Dawn in the desert, a clear and chilly November morning. We are near the city of Buckeye, Arizona, where a caravan of cars is arriving, carrying volunteers. For the next several hours, they will comb this unforgiving landscape, looking for a young man who's been missing since June of 2021. His name, Daniel Robinson. And leading the search, not law enforcement, but Daniel's father, David.
Where is everybody located?
For 9 painful months, Robinson and his team of volunteers, people he now calls family,
This is my family.
have been desperately trying to find any trace of his son.
He's a very bright, intelligent geologist. Anything that Daniel wanted to do, he would do it. He's born without a right hand, but he found ways to master anything that he wanted to do. You know, he's a geologist. Of course, Arizona is the ideal place.
In June 2021, Daniel had just begun a job doing field work at a desert well site. He'd always kept in close touch with his family back home in South Carolina. But around this time, Daniel suddenly stopped calling.
I've tried to call his phone constantly. He wasn't answering.
In fact, the whole family tried calling Daniel. Nothing. His sister in Arizona checked his apartment. No one there.
I was worried. I didn't want to panic because I didn't want my children to panic, so that's when I decided to call the Buckeye Police Department.
The Buckeye PD is a small one with barely more than 100 officers. Nevertheless, they began investigating by first checking the area where Daniel was reportedly working. Nothing turned up. 2 days later, David Robinson, desperate for answers, felt he had to take matters into his own hands.
I just grabbed everything I had, threw it in my vehicle, and just started driving. And I made it here. I came straight through. Left South Carolina, came straight to Arizona.
Some 45 hours later, David arrived in this daunting desert, exhausted, but in a panic. His son was out here somewhere, all alone, facing 3-digit heat, rattlesnakes, and not a soul or building in sight. So on his own, David started searching and soon made his way to the well site where his son was last seen.
This is where it all began. This is where the whole narrative started. My son drove off into the desert and vanished, maybe from here.
David then met with a witness, a co-worker of his son's who said he saw Daniel at the well the day he disappeared.
He did tell me that my son seemed like he was looking out into space somewhere, looking out into the desert terrain, kind of staring off, and was acting really quiet. And then he told me my son just kind of waved off to him, got in his vehicle, and drove off.
Where he went and what exactly happened next, no one seems to know. Soon after that meeting, David began recruiting volunteers to help him search the sprawling Sonoran Desert. Every Saturday for the next few weeks, they scoured this barren, treacherous landscape. They have not found Daniel. Then in July 2021, a break, a big one. A local rancher found Daniel's Jeep rolled over in a remote ravine.
When I first saw that crash site, I was really devastated. This place I had to go to and see for myself.
The airbags had deployed. The sunroof looked as if it had been kicked open, perhaps used as an escape route. And this was odd. Outside the Jeep were what appeared to be Daniel's clothes and work boots, his wallet still in his blue jeans. Inside the vehicle was his college ID, laptop, keys, cell phone, and plenty of bottled water. To help make sense of this mystery, David hired private investigator Jeff McGrath, an expert at reconstructing accidents. He has a theory of what might have happened.
There was nothing along this route that the vehicle took into that bottom ravine that matched the damage. It's telling me the vehicle was probably crashed somewhere else. Either moved here or it was continued to be driven, and this was its final stop. And whether somebody stole it in joyriding, whether Daniel was in it, but it tells me something happened somewhere else.
The Jeep has since been moved to a secured location for further analysis, but plenty of evidence still remains of the crash.
I don't believe it was enough to kill, no. The airbags had enough force to do some damage. They strike you in the face, and they come out with a lot of force, and it could cause a concussion. But there wasn't enough violence here in this crash to cause a lethal.
That suggests Daniel survived and was perhaps disoriented and maybe wandered aimlessly into the desert. Could this be other than accidental? Could foul play be involved in Daniel's disappearance? It's something McGrath and David have not ruled out. It's something police have examined too. To this point, there is no evidence of that. None at all. Whatever happened back in June of 2021 has David Robinson now bracing for the worst.
It's hard to say you're searching for your son, walking around the desert with no clothing, no shoes. So I had to mentally put it in my head that I'm doing a recovery. So I need to go find every spot I can out here to rescue my son. He may be hurt, injured, somewhere stuck, whatever. I need to find my son. I found something up here interesting.
David is hoping to get more attention, help, and resources from the Buckeye PD, which says this is still an ongoing investigation, although so far not a criminal one.
Okay, so we're still working this side.
He's also tried to enlist federal help. In the fall of 2021, the Buckeye PD briefed the FBI and asked for their assistance. The Bureau recently told us they're still assessing the case. So far, they have not gotten involved. So for now, David Robinson and his team of volunteers continue to search.
I really have faith that somehow God can bless that he's alive somewhere, and I hope so. I am not stopping. He's my son. He's my responsibility. He's a fighter. He never give up on anything. I definitely won't give up on him.
now been 10 months since geologist Daniel Robinson went missing in the Buckeye Desert. His dad had been conducting his own searches near where his son's crashed Jeep was found.
Yeah, it's still a mystery, and with his son still missing, he says funding has run dry, and he's going to stop searching, at least for now. Brianna Whitney's been following the case for us, spoke to Daniel's father today. Do we know what comes next?
He doesn't even know what comes next. And I think what's so hard in this case is there's just so much unknown here. And that's what's so hard. His dad made a point to say just because he's pausing his desert searches does not mean he's giving up on the case. Because David Robinson has conducted his own investigation alongside law enforcement, he's working largely off donated funds. He says right now there's just not enough to keep group searches going after 10 months.
June 23rd, 2021. The last time anyone saw Daniel Robinson. Yet his dad, David, keeps one thought in the front of his mind.
My son may still be alive out there somewhere.
David Robinson drove to Arizona from the East Coast after his son went missing from his geology job site in Buckeye last summer. His Jeep found crashed about 3 weeks after. Since then, David has been leading organized desert searches with volunteers several times a month. They've found bones that belong to others, but never Daniel's. David says he relies on GoFundMe dollars to keep his own investigation and searches up. And he says the reality is those funds have run out.
The operations search, the organized search, is on pause for now.
He says while searches are on hold for now, he's focusing on a different part of the investigation with items found at the Jeep crash site.
One of the biggest parts for me right now is to get the forensics work done for everything else that I found, the clothing, my son's wallet, his cell phone. There's another additional cell phone that was found out there doing my searches close to that area. That phone itself, also the work computer and his personal computer.
David says he's taking his efforts to the next level, filing a 501c3 Tuesday to launch the Daniel Robinson Foundation, where he hopes he can not only raise more money for his own investigation, but can also provide funding to other families dealing with missing loved ones.
The goal is to help other families to not go through the same thing I have been through just to get to this point.
While the Buckeye Police Department has not found evidence of foul play at this point, David says he still believes something criminal happened and says he will stay living in Arizona to see his son's case through.
I'm here until I find my son. That's what the goal is. That's why I'm really fighting. I'm doing everything I can to make sure that happens. I think any father, any mother would do the same.
Buckeye Police tells me Daniel's case is absolutely still active and an ongoing investigation. They're still working on conducting new interviews, looking at satellite imagery, checking financial activity, and working on forensics and targeted searches in that area. Live for now in the studio, Brianna Whitney for Arizona's Family.
A dedicated father, no matter the result in that case. Brianna, thank you for that.
So much for joining us. Our big story right now on 12 News at 6. May 23rd will mark 11 months since Daniel Robinson vanished in the Buckeye Desert.
His father moved here from South Carolina and has been leading search efforts almost every weekend. But now he says donations have dried up and he's hitting the pause button on the search.
So what is next? Team 12's Josh Sanders has been following this story from the very beginning and has more.
Sometimes your body want to say, I can't do it no more. But my mind say, I got to keep going.
Nearly every weekend for the last 10 months, David Robinson has been here, searching the Buckeye Desert with volunteers, hundreds showing up to look for his son Daniel.
10 months is a long time. Every day is that same thing over and over again. Daniel's still out there missing.
He's organized hundreds of search groups, using drones and other technology to canvass miles of desert terrain around the crash site of Daniel's 2017 Blue Jeep Renegade. Daniel's clothing found inside out, boots and socks, wallet and laptop. No blood, no signs of injury, no signs of Daniel. He hired a private investigator and collision expert.
After the airbags came out, somebody turned that ignition over at least 46 more times.
David's teams even found human remains, but not Daniel's. Funding generated through a GoFundMe account. More than $250,000 raised through thousands of donors.
Everybody made that possible for me to remain here. Started off with roughly 200 people coming out there on weeks to go out there and search with me. That number has dramatically dropped. I'd be lucky if I get 20.
But that funding has now run dry, leading David to temporarily pause the desert searches.
stress of the demands of trying to get the forensics work done on the vehicles and the clothing and everything else. Then I had to take away some of the equipment that's very vital and crucial.
Buckeye police do not have evidence pointing to foul play. Despite pausing the searches, David remains determined to find his son and help others with missing loved ones. He's in the early stages of establishing a foundation in Daniel's name to support other families with similar stories.
It's a non-stop deal for me. I want to make sure that the same thing that I have gone through don't happen to another family. So if I can help it.
Josh Sanders, 12 News.
My name is Daniel Robinson. I attend AC Flora, and I'm planning to major in geology at the College of Charleston.
Good job. When the lights and camera turn off, I will be here. When the interest and conversation fade, I will be here. When there's no one around, a father will do anything it takes to be there for his son, to protect his family.
Daniel Robinson went missing 4 months ago. This is the last photo his family has of him. He's a 24-year-old geologist, last seen leaving his job site in Buckeye, Arizona.
As the Gabby Petito homicide case garners national attention, another young person has been missing for nearly 3 months, and his family is desperate to find him. 24-year-old Daniel Robinson, a geologist, was last seen on the morning of June 23rd, leaving his work site in the desert of Buckeye, Arizona.
David Robinson had only one thought on his mind as he drove the nearly 1,800 miles from his South Carolina home to Phoenix.
I had to find my son. And I'm going to do everything I can to make that happen. My name is David Robinson. Thank you guys for coming in for this evening's Q&A, Primetime. I'm here to answer your questions on this evening. Again, my name is David Robinson, the father of geologist Daniel Robinson. My son, geologist, went missing in the Sonoran Desert of Buckeye, Arizona. My son is a graduate of the College of Charleston in Charleston, South Carolina. Where once he graduated with honors. Once he graduated, he came straight out to Phoenix, Arizona to expand his horizon to do his career. He landed a job immediately with a company called Matrix New World, also called Matrix Southwest Groundwater, where they hired him on as a field geologist, also called a hydrogeologist, where his job is to go out to various well sites all over the city of the state of Arizona, to the various location well site areas where future communities may be built, and some well sites is already existing. His job is to check the viability of those wells. By law in Arizona, in most communities, every community had to have these wells for water, and those wells have to, like I said, produce those 100 years of water. His job is to determine that, and also, like I said, the rock sediments in the water to make sure the water is drinkable. His job is to determine that and get those samples. Again, my son was out doing his job that morning. Very responsible young man. Like I said, been taking care of himself for almost 3 years before he went missing. He's always on time for work. Everything he does he always does it with a passion. Anything he believes in, that's what he does. You know, my son on that day of June the 23rd. Went out to 2 well sites. He went to one roughly around 7 o'clock that morning, And the second one, he met a person from another company called Weber. According to this worker, my son met him out on Sun Valley Parkway. My son asked for directions there. He directed him how to get to Sun Valley Parkway to that Cactus Road Junction area. It's the gate that's north of that, where they had a brief conversation on the roadway. He said my son was wearing his safety vest, and that's one of the and his boots. One thing that he told us also that my son followed him into that desert out there. They went about a mile mile west, and then into that desert, and then they had to go another 2 miles north just to make it to this well site. According to this worker, he and my son had this conversation, roughly about 10 minutes of a conversation. About the one part was about the weather. My son had also questioned and see if it's the two different sides of that. If it was my son asking him or my son to tell him that he wanted to go out and go back to Phoenix to rest, to get some rest, go back to Phoenix. Of course, this worker said that my son, after that time about the weather, the conversation they had, my son just waved off to him, got in his vehicle, and drove off where he was never seen again. On July the 19th of 2022, almost 30 days later, my son's vehicle showed up here in this ravine behind me. It's a 20-foot ravine. It may not look like it from the picture, of course, but it's a 20-foot ravine. The vehicles crashed down in that ravine, turned over to the side, on the passenger side. The sunroof panel was missing. It's tucked up under the vehicle. And my son's clothing, everything he was wearing on his body, from his underwear to his sock, is lying in a pile about 3 feet away from the vehicle, and another foot away from that pile of clothing is his safety vest and things like that. His safety vest that the worker described that he was wearing. Of course, the day my son went missing, I did get alerted from my daughter. A coworker came to her apartment, inquiring if Daniel was there. She was one thought that was strange. She didn't never tell this person where she lived, but she do remember the guy from Daniel. He and Daniel are friends from that job. He'd been there before. My daughter thought it was strange that Daniel, they didn't know where Daniel was located. He was last seen on that job around 9 o'clock. Of course, she called me in South Carolina, where she told me what was going on. I told her to go to her brother's house to make sure his apartment, to make sure he wasn't there. In the meantime, I would make phone calls, which I was doing, and try to see whatever information I can get, see if he was answering his phone. Daniel did not answer his phone. My daughter did get to his apartment and see that his vehicle wasn't there. So that's when I went to the next step. The next step was to try to make sure that nothing else was going on, and I went to call to the Tempe Police Department. My son, at that point, a few months ago, prior to him going missing, he ended up becoming a resident of Tempe, Arizona. And so I ended up calling the Tempe Police Department to see if they can do a welfare check, to just go by there to make sure that nothing happens, somebody stole his vehicle or something else going on. Of course, in the meantime, trying to do that, they was unable to do so, only because they told me is because my son was last seen in near the White Tank Mountains, is what I was told at the time. I didn't know anything else about the road name or anything like that, but I just know it was the White Tank Mountain area, and they said that was the Buckeye, Arizona area, and I needed to contact the Buckeye Police Department, which I did. I reached out to them, decided to see if they can do a welfare check. They did call Tempe Police Department to see if they can swing by to do this welfare check. But in the meantime, I did, as I was talking to these officers in Buckeye, trying to get the police report or put the missing person report in, they was unable to do that because it wasn't that, like I said, the 12-hour mark where I could put a report. I was 3 hours short of that. I had to wait 3 hours before I could report my son missing. And the only reason why I went to the point of reporting my son missing is because I noticed that from the time changes from South Carolina to Arizona, that would put my son at being missing for over 6 hours. And over 6 hours for Daniel is well over a limit that Daniel would go without telling anybody of his plans, his travel plans, or especially in this situation, he just left his job, as according to what only information I had at that point. So that's unusual for Daniel. That is not his move that he'll make. If Daniel wanted to be away from that job, he wouldn't have came to work in the first place. He wouldn't have came to the first well site. Some things I know about my son just didn't add up. So, of course, when I was able to finally get that police report in, I did requested them, like I said, to do that welfare check and also to go out in that desert to search for my son. You know, hey, my son is not from, he's from South Carolina, not from Arizona. He never been in that area before, but I was told by his work, his job, and they need to go out there and check for him. Of course, they said they couldn't do it because it's nighttime and they couldn't get a helicopter out there. So not knowing, I know a little bit about blackouts when I was in Afghanistan. So I don't know if that's a difference between how helicopters fly at night. I wasn't thinking on that terms, but I just took their word for it. They said they would do it early in the morning. The next morning, of course, I paced the floor the whole entire night, stayed in constant contact with the Buckeye Police Department, try to get all the information I can, try to get information I can from the workers, from his job, alike. To get all the information I can. But that next morning, I did get a call from Officer, after Officer Cruz left, I got a call from Officer Haley, who's take over from the day crew. And that officer told me, yes, there's going to have a helicopter go out to search for my son. I was very grateful. Really happy to hear that. At least I can get some information to find out if indeed my son is out there. In the meantime, we did do some due diligence as well, doing some checking of different campsites in the area out there. I did get some information from some campsite near the area of Buckeye that says one of the guys, the night guys that worked there, did know about hearing about Daniel's story before even being publicized. But anyway, there was some information. We did go out and start asking questions and try to reach out to people all the way from the East Coast. Like I said, that next morning came. They said they was gonna put that flight out there. I was very relieved, but then they ended up calling an hour later and the officer told me that his higher ups canceled that flight, unauthorized it because my son. They said my son is a grown man. If he want to disappear, he can. You know, they made that assumption about my son that he wanted to disappear, and they weren't going to do anything about it, his disappearance. So I took it upon myself as a father, as a man that loved my son, as a man who value who Daniel Robinson is. Daniel Robinson is a genius. He's a scientist. He's my son. He's a Robinson. And I had to make sure that I was there for him as a father. That's my job. It's my birthright. And so I gathered everything I can without thought, grab everything I can, put in my vehicle, and started heading west to go find my son myself, go out there in that desert. So again, I made it here in Arizona on the 26th, and I've been out there looking for my son ever since to this date, searching for my son. Started my own searches out there in the desert, my own city searches to end up becoming a city distribution. To do what I'm doing now, doing everything I can from a human standpoint and from a father standpoint to locate my son. Reaching out to city councils. I've been out to Buckeye, Arizona, and I'll be talking about that pretty soon in a little bit. My experience today. Also been to the city council meeting on today for the city of Phoenix. And I would tell you the differences I had from Buckeye City Council that I went to twice, and versus what I went to so far, Phoenix City Council that I did today only once. So I will be talking about that soon, but I want to start off with you guys who have been coming out to this Q&A. You know, I do this primetime Q&A. I meant to put it up earlier, get some people ample warning that I was actually going to do this. Like some kind of neglect that I was trying to get things ready for the city council and some other things I had to take care of today. But I do want to start off. Thank you guys for coming out, showing love and helping out with this Q&A. If you guys can please hit that like, share, subscribe button to help the algorithms, you know, get the story out, get this Daniel's story out there, get this channel out there so I can make sure I can reach all the people that I possibly can about my son's disappearance. Okay, I want to make sure you guys know about the Day of Remembrance that's coming up on the 25th at 6:30 right here in Phoenix. So if you guys can please just remember the Day of Remembrance. And that's for a lot of families who's out there who have missing family members. You know, as I was telling you guys before, I'm out there working hard and standing the gap for my entire family, his mother, his siblings, everybody. I'm standing here in the gap for everybody. And one of the things that happens when you do that, look for your son, you get to meet a lot of people. I met a lot of families who have missing persons, don't know where to turn to, don't know who to talk to. You guys didn't have even heard their stories. There's a lot of families out there. So I wouldn't be human if I didn't have any kind of empathy for these other families while I'm looking for my own son, because I know what they're going through. I know the pain that it feels to go through that every single day. When some people may think it's lightly and take it over and move on with life, it's very hard for most of us to just move on from someone that you love. This is my son, and this is their loved one. So to hear those stories, two things happened. God blessed me to file a 501c3 Daniel Robinson Foundation that we're working on now currently, and also for this event, a day of remembrance on June 22nd. 25th, excuse me, 2022 at 6:30 right here in Phoenix. So you guys go to pleasehelpfinddaniel.com and go on the events tab. You can find that. Also, Eventbrite. You can go find it on Eventbrite. We will have the URL in the chats. I'm sure some of the team members out there will put it out there. So you guys can be a part of that. That's for the families. You want to bring your table, bring flyers, bring whatever you need to put your loved one's story out there. That's what this event is about, sharing your loved one's story. And it's also for those who come along and support. We need, when I say we, myself, and other people's family, we need all the support we can from the community at large, no matter where you're from. If you're from Florida, you can put this on your calendar if you can, and somehow make it out here. We will appreciate you being there to coming to this event. So we definitely need your help and need your support for that. Also, I just want to make sure you guys also remember, and I say this often, and I'm going to make sure I say it every Q&A from now on, and make it all about this one important part of everything I'm doing here is to talk directly to the person who knows what happened to my son. Those who may be responsible, those who know something, who's not responsible but do know something. This tip line, I pay for this tip line. It's an anonymous tip line. You can use it as you can be non-anonymous or you can be anonymous. I pay for the tip line. There's people that'll take your call 24 hours, 7 days a week. Very courteous people. Like I said, they will allow you to be anonymous if you like. And if you don't want to talk to them, you also can text the word tip to that same number. And you can just stay anonymous that way. If form will come up, you have the opportunity. So like what I'm saying is, I got the anonymous tip line for nobody else but you. And I'll say you, I'm talking to the person who follows me on this Q&A, that person that came out to my searches that knows something, and just reluctant to say something. Or the person who hadn't came out at all, there's no something but reluctant to say something. I know in some communities we have that no snitch law, said no snitch law. But you know what? When it comes to things like this, it's a thing called empathy, and it's called having some kind of conscience about things. You know, I have a family here. I'm suffering, but I'm doing everything I can to stay strong and not to show my emotion and go through things to make sure I'm here for my son. But he have a mother, he have siblings, he have family members, friends, you like grandparents who's hurting and in pain. And on a person like yourself can end that pain. We want our child back, want my son back one way out of the other. I would like to have him alive, but I would like to have him any way that I can. At this point, we need our son back with our family. So if you got anything, you know anything, you heard anything, you've seen anything, it's your time to talk. It's going on a year now, and it's been too long for anybody to sit back and don't say anything. You know, it's more important things in life, and this is one thing that's very important to end the pain and suffering that a family goes through. So if you know anything, that's what the bottom right here, that tip line there, that number is there for you to utilize. Even call the Buckeye Police Department if you have to, anybody. And just go ahead and put that tip in on that tip line if you know something that will help me bring my son back home. I've been out here working hard. I'm not on vacation. I'm not on a joy trip or anything like that. I've been out here since June 26th. And I could be honest, I'm not an Arizonian. I'm not a person. I live here. I'm now a resident of Arizona, Phoenix. But I'm not an Arizonian, meaning that I'd rather be on the beach somewhere. I'd rather be near water or somewhere in Florida or something like that. I'd rather be there, not in Arizona looking for my son. So I'm not on that. So please, if you can, please use that number. That's what the tip line is for. It's for you to be able to be anonymous, to be able to say things and without say repercussions. So you all could use a burner phone if you have to. Saying anything you have to do, to utilize that tip. Now, like I said, you can text the word tip. If you don't want to talk to you don't do that. You want to talk to me directly. You don't want to talk to anybody on the line, or you don't want to use that form. You can also use my public cell phone number. I'll put that on the bottom for you to use there. It's right there, 803-200-7994. You can utilize that number if you like to make sure that you contact me, you know what I'm saying, directly. Again, I cannot promise you being anonymous on that line, but I would love to hear from you and get the answers and closure that me and my family so desperately need. So definitely, I want to take the time out for you. You're the most important part who have a key to know what happened to my son and to say something. So please do so. Utilize that in every avenue you can. Also, go to pleasehelpfinddaniel.com. That's for everybody who wants to do anything like help with the volunteer in other ways, because there's a volunteer other ways tab. If you want to, create these flyers, there's a PDF there. Also, to put the flyers out in your city, because I'm trying to get Daniel's story out everywhere and anywhere that I can. That's one of my main goals here, and also to make sure I have those. So please, by all means, if you want to go to pleasehelpfinddaniel.com, I will appreciate it if you can. All right, back to the Q&A today. I just want to tell everybody, like I said, thank you guys for coming out on this Q&A. So I'm gonna try to start at the top here and try to get some people in. Just tell you thank you for coming out. Tub 883 for being here this evening in the Q&A. Thank you, Caribbean. Kool-Aid, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your prayers. I really appreciate you reaching out from the YouTube side, and also you, T and Wildflowers, as usual. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. Kate Pia, thank you Pia, for being here. Thank you so much. I'm really grateful that you came out on the YouTube side as well. Kim, thank you for being here this evening. Thank you for coming, reaching out all the way from Texas. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much for joining in the Q&A. Also, Tanya M. I do want to say also, you guys, if you have a question, that's what the Q&A is for. Please put the word question there before you ask your question, or a capital letter Q, or some question marks or something like that. So coming down the comment section, I'll be able to see your question as I come down, because I will be kind of moving down faster shortly. But I want to tell you also, Yolanda, thank you for being here. Thanks for. I know, yes, it's very heartbreaking. You can imagine what Daniel's mother going through. So yes, from a mother's standpoint, it's very, very difficult. From a father's standpoint, from my standpoint, it's very painful. So yes, a lot of pain from a parent's standpoint, and anybody that you love is standpoint. Yes, very painful. So thank you for being supportive and taking your time out to come and being a part. So. And thank you for moderators. I see you here. Thanks to Phil for being here. Thanks for joining in with me on this, going out to the city council today as well. I'm really grateful for that. Hello. Thank you, everyone in the chat. Thank you for joining in this evening's Q&A. Please join in, and we'll check out pleasehelpfinddaniel.com, as Sophia saying there. So I really appreciate it. Thank you, Andre. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Andy, for being here. Thank you for your prayers. Always from the Facebook side of things. I really appreciate that. If y'all guys have any questions, please, by all means, put the word question there. Like I said, capital letter Q, also question marks. They really help. I really would like to go down this comment section and find it. Thank you, Gina, for being here. And I really appreciate all you do. You've been working really hard, whether you was in the desert when I had the desert searches out there to pass out those flyers in the city distribution. So, and also one time ago when it was a city search. So I really grateful that you have spent a lot of time, and you spend a lot of time helping everywhere you can. So I'm really grateful for that. That's some things I would never ever forget personally. So I really thank you so much. Also, thank you, Sophia, again, if for putting that information up there. I'll have the questions. Please make sure you add the capital Q there, or some question mark, or you can put the word question there before you ask the question. That would help. But I want to stop right here and make a pause. Because I do have one question. I'm gonna put your question there. Before I get your question, I'm gonna do a pause. Janica, thank you for your first question for this evening's Q&A. But I want to put a pause, and I want to talk about this city council meeting before I go too far, and I don't want to forget. But I really was grateful that I was able to attend to the Phoenix, the city of Phoenix city council meeting this evening. I just left that before I came in for the Q&A. So that's why you saw the Q&A kind of shifted and changed a little bit. Started kind of late, but I was really grateful for being out there as well. I mean, it helped out. It helped out a lot. I want to, first of all, tell you the differences from the city council experience versus what I had in Buckeye, Arizona. As you guys have heard me say before, I'm very disappointed with the city manager, both the assistant city manager, the mayor of Buckeye, the vice mayor of Buckeye, and their whole city council. I've been out in Buckeye looking for my son right here with the scene here, and also the well site. Since June 26th, I've been out in Arizona searching for my son. It's no secret to Buckeye, Arizona. If you're a mayor of Buckeye, Arizona, you know what goes on in your city. If you don't know, then you're not a good mayor. If you're a city manager, you know what's going on with the police department. If you're not a good city manager, and you don't need to be handling their money. Say so on and so on, I can keep going. City council, you handle all the stuff, you handle millions of dollars budget. And if you cannot take a little change of that money to help out a citizen or anything that happened in your city, then shame on you, right? But I made it to doing all this work here in Arizona as a father in pain. In my pain, searching for my son for months. They know the struggles I have been doing. They know I have been relying on GoFundMe money. I don't like asking people for money, but I had to do that, all right? I had to go out there and ask citizens, normal citizens like yourself, to come out and help me, aid me, and stand by my side out there in those desert, 118-degree weather, and then in the wintertime, very cold weather. Somehow asking people to do so, and God convinced them to come out there and help me, right? In their city. And also in search of my son, I have been bringing closures to other families. By my searches, a lot of families have closure, some form of closure now, because we did find human remains out there that wasn't Daniel, but we did find other people human remains. We also found evidence of other crimes where, like I said, another pile of clothing or somebody's clothing, underwear, socks, and everything. In the same manner, my son's clothing was found. For instance, find cell phones out there. There's certain little things that have been going on in that desert. But the ultimate part is we have citizens of Buckeye, Arizona, out in my searches. Like I said, spending their time and their efforts. And this city, not one time, have reached out to me. Not even the chief of police, Larry Hall, has really been really helpful in terms of really helping me out there in my searches, providing those drones that I've been looking for, providing some of the underwater cameras that I needed to search these wells, to go and really search these mines in those areas, to use it, so their sophistication and their technology, and also their arresting power to interrogate these people I would like to have interrogated about these stories, about the stories of knowing about the whereabouts of my son or not knowing the whereabouts of my son. All of that, all of these months. And I went to that city council out there in Buckeye, Arizona, to let them know, hey, y'all not reaching out to me. You're not saying nothing to me. No matter how much time CNN came into town to spend days with me, Paramount Films came in town, filming in their place. And all of them keep reaching out to these people too, by the way. News Nation to Red Table Talk to whoever. This thing went national, bearing down on Buckeye, Arizona. And not one time did the mayor, the city vice mayor, the whole city council staff there, the whole city manager staff reach out to him and say, hello, Mr. Robinson. I'm sorry you're going through this or something. This is not. Thank you for coming in our city and finding these human remains. Thank you for your investigation. Do something. What I'm saying is, you guys, what's in the person's heart, they mouth going to speak, they didn't say nothing. Their actions going to reflect who they really are. And these people have not reached out to me one time to show even a shred of empathy for what me and my family are going through in this time, right? So that's very offensive to me. I went there the first time just to observe. The second time I went to the city council meeting, I let them, hey, I'm here. Don't pretend like I'm not. You guys should know that I'm here. And they still, to this day, haven't reached out to me. So that let me know who those people really are and what kind of people they are. And the reason why certain things are going on in that city of Buckeye, why they still have sundown towns and things like that. But when I went to the city council meeting today in here in Phoenix, totally different atmosphere. I still got my 3 minutes of talking, But one thing I did notice, I didn't get the same stone face that I got from the city of Buckeye City Council. They all looking with blank face, looking at not a smile or nod of the head as they're in agreement with me or anything. It's almost like, what you doing here, and we don't care about what's going on. We don't want to hear from you or something. I don't know. I can't say what's in their mind, but they had stone faces. That's the only thing I can remember about them. But one thing I noticed about when I was in Phoenix, Arizona today, I saw them engaged. They engaged so much to the fact that when I finished given my spiel today, the one of the council members, Carlos Garcia, he was about to break their rules. Because one of the rules are the city council cannot make comments about open forum like I was doing. I was just there to make a statement, but he was so engaged and he was so heartbroken what I was going through as a father. He wanted to talk to me right there off the panel, and then the city attorney had to cut in and let him know, hey, no, you cannot do that because of legal, but he can do it off panel, off the scenes. Once we finish and they break, then they can talk to me then. Not only that, one of the other council members also acknowledged that he follows the case. Dan, you follow me online, and he's following the case, and he wanted to reach out to me. They want to do everything they can to help me. Matter of fact, they're getting their police department to try to help out, and they exchanged numbers with me right after. Called me back to the mic, told me how sorry they are that I'm going through this as a father, as a family, and no family should have to go through that. Just showing all kind of empathy, just showing some kind of humanity. That's all I ask for from the Buckeye City Council and everybody else. But like I said, people like Maya Angelou said, they show you who they are, believe them. You know, you have to believe these people. They show you who they are, so you have to believe them the first time. As soon as they show you, you don't have to think about it any other way. So when I see that from this I just want to kind of really say these people's name. So I had a sheet of paper here. Like I said, I want to first of all say thank you to the city manager there, Phoenix, for also talking to me afterwards and telling me how he can try to help and things like that, and taking my information and saying he's going to contact me. His name is Jeff Barton. I really thank him for his time. Also, I want to give thanks to Mayor Kate Gallego. I hope I don't say their names wrong, but I probably would. But I apologize for that. But the mayor of Phoenix, also the one of the council members here, Ann O'Brien. Thanks her. Also, Council Member Jim Warning. Also, Council Member Deborah Stark. Also, Vice Mayor Laura Pastor. Also, Council Member Betty Gardado, and also Council Member Sal DiCiccio, whatever. I can't really pronounce the name, so I really apologize for that. And I know it's going to be bad for me not doing it, but I really would like to get their names correctly. Also, Council Member Yasmin Ansari, I believe how you pronounce that. And also, let me see who else I got here. Also, council member, like I said, Carlos Garcia. So those people, everybody, the whole city council member, I want to get their names right. So next time I do the Q&A, I will make sure I get their names correctly and say it the proper way. But, you know, I just want to say thanks to them for their efforts and their ability to really show some empathy for me and my family. That meant a lot to me. That took a lot of burden off. They really reached out to me after the fact. They didn't even let me leave the building without getting my information, without giving me theirs, without comforting me in some type of way of everything I'm doing here in Arizona, to acknowledge me that I'm now one of their citizens here of Phoenix, Arizona. So, you know, that's the kind of people that show you something a little different from what I've experienced there in that city of Buckeye. So I just wanted to point that out on our behalf. And also, in a few minutes after I ask this question from Janica, I will be playing a little part of that live video that Sophia videotaped there while we was at the city council meeting. So y'all can see a little bit of that. Of course, when I went there, my mind was set to just bring awareness that I'm here. I'm here in the city. I'm a resident now of Phoenix, and also that I'm here doing something for my son. Of course, the crazy part about it, Phoenix has nothing to do with the investigation in terms when I'm saying they have nothing to do with it, meaning that my son didn't go missing in Phoenix. He didn't live in Phoenix at the time he started. He lived in Phoenix once, and then he moved to Tempe. But the whole fact is that these people here, I was able to talk to them, just say, hey, I'm a citizen here, and this is what I'm doing in your city. And for them to take ownership the way they have really makes a big difference. So I just wanted to point that out. Also, I have a question here that's sitting here from Janica. Have you gotten any forensic evidence from Daniel's Jeep back yet? I never did get a Jeep there. I'm still trying to get the funding for the forensic work that's going to be done on his vehicle. So I'm still working on that, Janica. So those times will come. God's going to bless with that. That's what the foundation would be for, to help out with those efforts and things like that. So you guys look forward to that. Also, I want to tell everybody, thank you for using your voice. I have 116,773 voices of you all. You signed up with your voice, made your voice known in the petition, and you guys can continue to do that. Go to pleasehelpfinddaniel.com, and you can go into the petition tab, and go ahead and sign a petition with your voice and let your voice be heard. Your voice can be even louder. If you got multiple email addresses, you can use those email addresses so you can sign multiple times. That is your voice louder. And so I really appreciate you guys if you can. So while I'm doing this right here, I will be going right now to this video before I forget about that. I want y'all to hear a little part of this. This is a change I had with the City Council of Phoenix, Arizona. So I will be playing that video that Sophia had videotaped earlier, and we'll be going from there. And I'll come back to answering some more of your questions. So if y'all can look at this right now, I really appreciate it. Can you hold on 1 minute?
Came out to Arizona on June 26th in search of my son, Geologist Daniel Robinson. He was missing out there in the city of Buckeye, Arizona. He's a resident of Tempe, Arizona. I'm now currently a resident of Phoenix. I'm just here to bring awareness to my son's case, let you guys know that I've been out here since June 26th searching for him. I've also been aided by people of the city of Phoenix. I have my center of distribution here in the city of Phoenix, and also my efforts, my own investigation that I'm doing to find my son. And someone that is based here in Phoenix, Arizona, and also in Buckeye, Arizona. Again, I'm just here to make awareness to my son's case, try to get some awareness and some help from anybody, any way that I can from you guys. Like I said, conducting my own investigations to providing, trying to start a nonprofit organization here based out of here to help other families. So I'm going to do all the assistance I can. Anybody that can help me can look at pleasehelpfinddaniel.com is where you can get that information where you can help my efforts to find my son here in Arizona. I'm going to continue to fight for my son, but I need those help from anybody in the way that I can. Like I said, I'm doing my own investigation, also doing my own forensic work of things that was done. My son's vehicle was found almost 30 days after he went missing out there in Arizona, and there was no forensic work done on the scene. Those are things I have to provide for myself, and if I get in the city, if I need assistance from the city, any kind of way, ask you guys, please help me if you can. Again, that's basically all I have to say about that. But like I said, I continue to be here to fight for my son. Also, if I want to go to the Facebook page, I have a Facebook page on social media where anybody can reach out to me. So I'm definitely need all the help I can. I'm trying to think of any other issues that I may be able to address here. But again, my name is David Robinson. I'm the father of Geologist Daniel Robinson. Been here since June 26th. Became a resident here in Arizona since that time because of that. And I'll continue to be here to fight. So I do have a center distribution out on East McDowell Road behind the Walgreens, where I pass out flyers. I have my, like I say, things like this, the billboards from the east side of Phoenix to out there west out towards Buckeye. So just trying to get some awareness of the case. If you guys can reach out again, pleasehelpfinddaniel.com. You can find all the information you can about my son's case. Thank you.
Okay, there we go. I did have the mute button on. So what I was saying is, thank you guys for watching that video. I'm really grateful also to Phoenix for allowing me to go out and use their platform to bring awareness to citizens of Phoenix, and also to the city council and all those folks that was there who was willing to listen and hear what I had to say. So, like I said, the atmosphere was totally different. They were very much. I was watching their body language when I was speaking. Of course, I was a little nervy as I was speaking. So, but just looking at their body language was more receptive. They were shaking their head. They was really engaged. And like I said, even one city council member almost broke the rules of trying to further help me in the situation immediately while I was up there on their panel on their mic. So on the podium. So, so that just let me know the differences between cities. Buckeye is only about 40 miles or so west of Phoenix. And you can see the difference in the demeanor and the attitude and the empathy that these two areas have. I did have some, and I'm not knocking off of Buckeye, Arizona, when it comes to the residents, people that live there. I can say there are some avenues, some areas there that's not really good for people like myself to be out there. Like I said, there's some sundown areas. A lot of people that live out there know about those areas, and that's kind of reflective of what I feel with that whole city council there in Buckeye, because their attitude is just like that. Hey, look, you're here, you're doing this work, looking for your son, you're in pain, your family's in pain. Our cities are responsible. It happened in our city, and the police department have come up empty-handed thus far. You've been out there finding human remains, finding evidence, things like that of your own son's vehicle. You're performing your own forensics work. You're doing your own investigation, and so on and so on. And like I said, this whole city out there, Buckeye, haven't even one time say hello. So what I'm saying, that just be very reflective of the kind of person that you're really dealing with when it comes to an entire network of people. So again, I just want to thank Phoenix, Arizona for being so receptive and being very helpful. I'm looking forward to hearing from them going forward. So, all right. Thank you, Gwen, also for putting that there. Thank you for all your hard work and everything you do. And I'm really grateful for all of that. Putting the tip line there again for everybody. Please, not for everybody, but that person that knows, or those persons that knows what happened to my son, to utilize that tip line. You can remain anonymous. You can text the word tip to that number and still remain anonymous. Please utilize that. I can't stress that enough. Again, if you guys have any questions, please feel free to ask these questions. I will be coming down the comment section and searching for your question. I do have something from my board member, Sophia. Thank you for putting that up. A day of remembrance, June 25th again, on June 25th, 2022, at 6:30 to 10 p.m. You can go to Eventbrite. That's the link there to register to RSVP. And also you can go to pleasehelpfinddaniel.com, the same under events tab. So you guys, please put that in your calendar and come out support if you can. It's an event that's for everybody, whether they have a missing person or not. But it's for everybody, but mainly for those, like I said, who want to share their loved one's story. So thank you again, Gwen, for putting that up there. Is also on the address is there, the House of Senate lawn, right here in Phoenix, Arizona. The state capitol area is 1700 Washington Street here in Phoenix, Arizona. So you guys, please put that on your calendar. Like I say, go to Eventbrite on that link. And also you can go to pleasehelpfinddaniel.com so you can RSVP. You know what I'm saying? So we'd like to see you out there. I see Gwen, you just straighten that out. I really appreciate that. I'd like to see you all out there and to be part of the event. So please, by all means, come out and support. A lot of families need that. A lot of families who will be there highlighting their missing loved one need that. They need this platform. They need that attention. They need their awareness. And you guys can be that person that can help them find their loved one by taking their flyers, taking their information back to your cities, back to your state, and help these other family members receive some closure that they deserve. So please, you never know what can come out of this whole event thing. So if you guys can support that, I very much need you to do that. All right. Also, I have a question here from Kimberly. Thank you, Kimberly, for your question from YouTube, and thank you for being part of this this evening Q&A prime time. Question is, what made his coworker go to the sister's house, especially when he wasn't working with Daniel that day? When you talked to him, what was his reason for looking for Daniel on a work day? Well, this coworker is one of Daniel's friends, the one that came to my daughter's house. He and Daniel often go hang out together. They play video games together, things like that. So they're really friends, co-worker friends. This worker, he not the worker that was at the sometimes I use the word worker. That's why co-worker. I say co-worker. His co-worker went to my daughter's house, but I don't like to use the word co-worker for the guy from Weber, who was the last one that seen my son out there, who gave us this whole story of how my son disappeared. I call him a worker. He working from Weber. But the coworker, Daniel's coworker that come from the same company there, yeah, he did go to his sister, Daniel's sister's place, my daughter, her place. And I think what it was is from what the story is, that they got alerted that Daniel was off the work site. I think it got to a point, I'm sure the job probably inquiring that he got those measurements they're looking for. I think they need some kind of they report after so many hours of the volume of the well water, or whatever the case may be, the water that's coming out of the well. Daniel had to report those things. I don't know how often, but I do know when I was on the phone with him many times, he always tell me things like that. He had to give some type of water levels, check the water levels. Hey, Dad, hold on a second, I check these water levels or something out other. So I don't know if that's something he turned into the company right then, like actually to call them, whatever. But I do know that job somehow, whether is the guy at the well said something about that, because I hear two different sides of that story. The guy at the well said that the job contacted him inquiring about Daniel, and then he said he contacted them. So it's two different ways I've been hearing the story. So I don't know which one is the truth. But I do know that his job was made aware that Daniel wasn't on that well site at 9 o'clock in that morning, because this worker mentioned it to my daughter. So that's what we have from that. Now, as in me talking to this worker, yeah, I spoke to this worker many times. He used to come out he even came out to the searches a couple of times. I haven't seen him out there for a long time for various reasons. I know what those reasons are. But you know what? He hadn't come out for a long while. But I did speak to him at the time, and I do have my opinions about that. But I'm going to have to leave it right there because that's part of my investigation. But I definitely know that's the reason why the worker decided to come out and ask, because he's supposed to be Daniel's friend. So, all right, Gwen, thanks so much for putting that up. You guys hit the like, share, and subscribe button. That help with the algorithm. Also, that just help me get Daniel's story out there, Father. So you guys can please continue to share Daniel's story, share this YouTube channel. Again, I may be able to keep this going for 3 days, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. But I'm really thinking about just making the Q&A just for Wednesday. So you guys look for that. I will make that decision before the end of this week. But if I do so, I will be having some content on the YouTube channel, and also the Twitter and TikTok, of course, Facebook and Instagram. But I will have content there to keep you guys updated what's going on, because I have a lot that I have to do. So I want to see if I can really kind of cut down on the Q&A to give myself time to do some other things as well. But at the same time, the Q&A on Wednesdays is a choice for me, because I do two of them, one in the morning and one at prime time, like I'm doing now. So that may be my better fit. So I will let you guys know. I will make it put information there on the Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. I'll let you know if I decide to do Q&A only once a week going forward. But if not, I will see you guys on Friday for Friday's Q&A. Also, don't forget that tip line. You can remain anonymous. I'm still going to continue to reach out to that person or persons who know what happened to my son. I do have one lead that I'm following. Also was turned into the Buckeye Police Department to follow. They, of course, I don't know what they're doing, but I know what I'm doing to make sure that I get some answers from that to see if what was told to me. Some of you guys know what I'm talking about because it came out on the chat section to see if it's valid. Some of that stuff is valid. What this person says, or this is something else going on. But we're definitely looking into that. So thank you for your prayers. Also, the Con from South Carolina, I really appreciate it that you were able to be a part of the Q&A from back at home, if I want to call it that. So please, you guys, please continue to share Daniel's story. Please, that's the biggest part there. If you can, please, by all means, definitely share Daniel's story. And I agree with you, Sophia. It was such a better experience at the Phoenix City Council today than it was in Buckeye. I'm glad we went to. I'm glad we was out there and got that Daniel's story out there to that panel, who was very engaged, like I said, who very much care about what's going on. I could tell them was care about what's going on in the city as well. So I'm really grateful for, like I said, to the city manager, Jeff Barton, also for his time as well. So very different outlook, very different atmosphere, and a different difference in compassion and empathy that I had got from them. So really grateful for Phoenix. Thank you, Phoenix, for that. Also, I have a question here from Tanya M. Question, without giving any specifics, have you found any clues that might be getting closer to where or what happened to Daniel? Yes, I have, a long time ago. A lot of things I can tell you guys I cannot, of course, talk about. So, so for me, it's hard because I had to constantly say the same thing over and over again, knowing that I have some answers to some of the things I already asked questions about. But I do have some of those answers. But only validation I can have with some of these things is getting this forensics work done. That's why you guys hear me stressing that a lot, trying to get the funding and things like that for the forensic work. One young lady just asked about the vehicle. That's have yet to be in process to correct. I don't care if they use the word process in a Buckeye Police Department's report. If processes is doing fingerprinting on that I requested, then I guess that's process. But the process I'm doing is finding out about the red transfer paint, where that come from. Also processing those airbags to make sure there's no DNA on those airbags. Those guys cannot say they look to pull up any kind of DNA. You'll see on that report they'll say about fingerprinting. They didn't pull in the DNA report or anything about the DNA in their report. So, because they haven't. They haven't done the DNA on the clothing, stuff like that, testing on the clothing. I don't even know if this is really my son's clothing. We have nothing to validate, to even say, other than the Buckeye apartment, the police department assuming that is my son. Going, hey, this is your son's clothing. Do your son wear boxers or brief? Is what the detective had. Like I'm supposed to know what a grown man is wearing on his pants. My son, what he wearing on his pants. Do he wear boxers or brief? How would I know that? But anyway, it's all on the ground here. How you know that's his clothing? Did you test? Did you forensically test? Did you even get any forensics? They haven't got any forensic sample from me or my family. We getting ready to do that now because I reached out to NAMUS and some of those try to get this thing done. They get ready to do it now. Here it is a year later, almost a year later. So I'm saying the point is I'm making is who's to know this is my son's clothing? That could have been staged there. It could be anybody's clothing. I don't know. It could be some dude from Africa. It could be his clothing. I don't know who clothes it is. So the thing is, I'm going to have to get those forensic stuff done. And again, you have some specific questions about that. But yes, I definitely have some indications about certain things, and I had to tie it all in with forensic work. And like I said, one thing I learned, I'm not expert, but when you start approaching like where I'm going to with this information I got, you got to have all your ducks in a row. I have the paperwork. I thank God for someone in the background who was able to provide some paperwork for me to file, and I will be utilizing that paperwork as well to get this stuff filed. So, all right, but it had to be all in and get all the ducks in a row. Thank you about the Day of Remembrance. Thank you, Gwen, for putting it back up. Day of Remembrance, Saturday, June 25th. I don't want you guys to forget. That's why we're going to keep going over and over again. It's on Mountain Standard Time here in Phoenix, Arizona, House of Senate lawn in Arizona here, state capitol at 1700 West Washington Street. So if you guys can put that on your calendar and make it your choice of place on that date to come out and really spend your time there with us. that really be helpful. It'd be helpful for a lot of family members, even including myself and my family. So please be a part of that. God bless you. Also, Shiro's Nation, thank you. I just had to throw this up because you always have these great questions. I hope you have one today. But thank you so much for thank you. Okay, I'll try to read your comment at the same time. There are some good people out there. There's some good people out there. And like I said, one thing for sure, even in an area of Buckeye, Arizona, they leadership may be different. But some of the residents there that live there that come out to the searches are totally different from their leadership. So they have people out there that's definitely part of the searches and show a lot of empathy for me because they don't have to. And like I said all the time, people do not have to come out on their Saturdays, on their weekdays to spend time with me, a man from South Carolina, a young man, a geologist, intelligent man from another city, another state, and came out and went missing. And they didn't have to come out and miss their time with their families, spend their gas money or whatever to come out there and spend their time in that desert out there with me and my family and searching for Daniel. So I could say, a lot of those people don't reflect their city council. They ain't the kind of people that the city council reflect. They're not the kind of people that the city council or the mayor reflect or the city manager. They're a different kind of people. They're people that actually show empathy and really come out and physically, and like I said, intangibly utilize their own resources and also using their time and their efforts, their own muscles and everything else, and to come out and help me out there in the searches. So I'm really grateful to everybody who came out to searches from Buckeye, Arizona, who came out, and everybody else from other places too. But I'm speaking about them right now. I'm really grateful for them for coming out to be part of my searches and become like family. So, all right, I do have tea and wildflowers. Will you speak at the Tempe Council? I will. I'll be looking for that next week to be a part of the Tempe City Council meeting and see if I can speak and also bring awareness of my son's case there. It's very important to do so as well. My son, at the time he went missing, is a resident of Tempe, and they have some responsibility as a city to that. So they know their responsibilities are. Hindsight now, I didn't know that then, but I know now. Whenever a resident of that city do bear some responsibility to find out what happened to their citizen. So hopefully this city council meeting, being able to highlight, my son's case will bring that to light, and also bring the fact that they do need to hopefully step up and help me find out what happened to my son, work with me and try to help me every way they can. So I will be reaching out to them and to make sure they continue to know. It's not that they don't know either. They continue to know that my son remained missing, and I'm still out in Arizona searching for him. So thank you, Vanessa. I see your comment there. You say you're going to write a letter to the mayor of Buckeye and the Buckeye City Council. I'm not going to be mean, but they need to know, fellow Arizonans feel that this is completely unacceptable. It is very, and good luck with that. When I say good luck with that, I have been asked before, hey, Ms. Robinson, you going back to Buckeye City Council again? I was about to. Then I said no, because it's not going to serve a purpose. I can aggravate these people to death and keep coming up to their face. But when only thing I can see in my eyes every time I even think about that city council standing up there talking about my son, and I can see their stone face. If you look at a statue and it's made out of stone, that's how those people look to me. And you know what? I can't see them, but because of that fact, I've been out there and I spoke what I had to speak. Let you know I'm there. I spoke with force. I spoke strongly, and it still didn't move these people to even consider, even say hello to me. When I seen that, no matter I can preach till my face turn blue and tell these people whatever. You can't change a heart. You can't change a mind. They have to do that themselves. And one thing they showed me is what they have in their hearts and what they have in their mind. And to this date, here it is almost a year, and I haven't heard from the mayor of Buckeye, the city manager of Buckeye, the city vice mayor, any of those city council folks up there, anything. No kind of indication as I'm here in Arizona, in their city, doing all of those searches with hundreds of volunteers, bringing in national attention to their police department. They didn't reach out to try to assure me that they're doing everything they can to find my son, because they're not. And so the thing is, that's what I get from there. So I had to go other places where I'm accepted, if you want to put it that way. And so that's the way I feel as a family member, and that's the way they come across to me. So yes, I will be going to also Tempe to put my son's story out there, but also as yourself, Vanessa, you writing that letter. I really appreciate that. The more letters we got to keep going, and I'm not gonna say don't write the letter, because what I'm saying is I'm doing some things too to continue to let them know I'm not gonna take my foot off the gas. I'm gonna continue to let them know that I'm still gonna be in their face. I'm gonna still be in their face. I'm still gonna push hard and do whatever I have to do, because they will do their job one way or the other. I would ask for the Justice Department to come in and investigate that whole department, in which they need to. They was out there in Phoenix doing some things. They need to come out there and while they at it in Buckeye and see all the stuff that's going on there, and let me know what's going on in my son's case. So that type of stuff. So, I would like to see that happen, and I'll be pushing for everything in the avenue I can to make sure that my son, like I said, get the justice that he deserved, and get treated a certain way. So just like if my son was a police officer went missing, I would like the same energy that they would do to find this police officer or whoever who goes missing, that they think is more valuable than my son. Nobody's more valuable than my son. My son is no more valuable than anybody else. So we're definitely going to definitely make sure that happens. Also, thank you, Gwen, also for putting it up again. Please help finddaniel.com. You can help in multiple ways. That you help with flyer distribution in your city. You guys want to be part of that. Like I said, that's still coming. The ambassador program for the flyer distribution. You can do that, as well as go to other ways, the help tab, other ways to volunteer tab, and sign up that form, and then put in a small session where you want saying that you want to be part of the ambassador flyer distribution, whatever. That will help out to find the people that I need. Also, you can sign a petition and you can donate. Definitely, you guys, I haven't been pushing it enough, but I definitely need some donations to keep everything flowing and going. I really need to try to push hard and still working on everything I need here to get these forensic work done, and also get the searches back going again. So anything you guys can help, it's not too small, too big. I really appreciate it if you guys can help. Also, Sophia put that up there. Thank you, Sophia, putting it up there. You can donate there. So the GoFundMe. Thank you so much for putting that up, Sophia. I really appreciate that. I just ironically spoken about that. Again, if you guys have any more questions, I really love you to answer your questions like Vanessa have. You can put a big word question there first, followed by your question, or you can put a capital letter Q or some question mark, something there where I can find it easily. The question is there a fund for the Jeep, for instance, that we can contribute to? That was being suggested to me one time in the past. Mr. Roberts, you need to open up a separate GoFundMe for that, or another funding avenue for that. And like I told you guys, it's kind of hard for me to ask people for money, and I didn't want to make it appear a certain way by opening up all these different ways of asking for donations. But I did, after some point, was able to do a Cash App, and I still haven't put it on my website, but I did put it on the Twitter. That's on the request of volunteers who say, I just don't want to give to the GoFundMe because they take fees out, and I get that. I get that too. So I did, I made the avenue for people to use the Cash App if they want to, for instance. But as in to have a separate thing for the Jeep itself, no, I do not have anything separated just yet. Just for say, hey, I'm just have some funding for that Jeep, type deal, for instance, because I have to get, for instance, not just the Jeep. I had to get, for instance, done on the clothing. There's another cell phone outside of one I was getting done. Is another cell phone found at the scene. Also, his personal computer, his work computer, laptop, all that stuff had to be forensically done. The transfer paint on the vehicle, stuff like that. So all that stuff had to be taken care of. There's a box inside the vehicle with logs and things like that. All that had to be gone through. The airbags had to be done. So, it had to be vacuumed. The vehicle had to be vacuumed for fibers and hairs, and whatever the case may be, the whole process. Also the fingerprinting. I'm not confident on the fingerprinting I requested from the Buckeye that they say they did. I'm not confident on that. So I'm going to have that done as well. So so it takes a lot, and I don't have to do so separate thing just yet. I haven't really made a decision on doing so yet. So, all right. Thank you, Aaron Chase. The Phoenix City Council showed you how it's supposed to be, and they did. They really did. And I just can't get over that experience. They really did. They really did. They made me feel great. When I walk out of the place, I actually had a smile, despite of my son still being missing, despite of the pain, I actually had a smile from the city of Phoenix, the way they treated me in their council meeting. You know what I'm saying? Stopped me from the mic. They asked me to come back to the mic because this guy wanted to try to help me immediately. And then he only had to get stopped by the city attorney. Of course, illegal. And I understand that from a legal standpoint, they have their rules. That's a rule. And when the rules say, hey, we're not going to talk to you, is a rule that they have established well before Daniel went missing. A rule that the council members, I guess, to save time and stuff, they're not going to address certain things, but they can do it off the panel, and which they did. So they made it a point before I can walk out of that place to come to me and get my information in the back of the room. And then even to the much as I walk out the door, the officers asked to speak to me outside. And also the city manager, like I said, came out to make sure he got his talk and his things he wanted to help me out with, also to speak with me. So not going to say it's a totally different thing. So I will be going to, on June 9th at 6 p.m., we'll be going to the Tempe City Council meeting. So you guys be aware of that. So definitely we'll be doing that and being a part of that city council. So again, that's for awareness. That's to bring light into my son's case, to make sure that these departments know that I'm here in Arizona, continue to fight for my son. And if they can help me in any kind of form or fashion, to do so. So that's always helpful. Dodge Fender, thank you for your question. If we come if we come in from out of state, where is a hood and safe place to stay? I will. I smile with that because one thing about I noticed this is my take, and I do have two of my board members who are native of Arizona, so they would know better than me. But one thing I can say that I learned, and this I learned from my daughter, believe it or not, and we're from South Carolina. She's been living here for some good time, Phoenix at the time. And one thing I learned is that you can be traveling from one block, and it's like, man, this is beautiful. Then the next block turn to something else, like really quick. So I really don't know. We'll be able to direct you to where would be the best place for you to stay at. But I can tell you, there are some really good areas around Phoenix itself that I feel is very. I can't really point those places out. Like I said, I'm still learning myself. Even though I know I've been here almost a year, I'm still learning a lot about Arizona. And there's so many places, for instance, to eat, for instance. And I have my board members say, "Hey, Dave, where you want to go eat? Or where you want to go?" Or something. I can't tell them. Hey, you tell me where we're going to go, because I'm so busy. I don't have time to actually go down and go riding around looking at different places and seeing what's the best place to eat or this, or I don't have that kind of time and that kind of pleasure to do certain things. So I wouldn't know the answer to that directly, but I can tell you some of the board members will. So if you have to bring that question back up again, or you can text me on that number that I provided, the public cell phone number, I would probably have those. I can get that from my board members, and they probably can direct me to give you that kind of answer to that question. What's the best area to stay at once you get here? And I hope you do come, Dodge Fender. I really do. I hope I get to shake your hand. I hope I get to talk to you. If you bring your family, I hope I get to meet your family. But if you could come out, I'd really be happy to have you. So thank you. All right. I do have a question from Janica. Do you find it suspicious that Buckeye PD wasn't helpful? That city council set their stone face and the company Daniel worked for? Yeah, I really do. I found a lot of suspicions about that whole area. Sometimes I just look at the Buckeye when I first got here as some big old giant cult area. And that's I hate to put it that way, and I'm not being offensive to the citizens that's there. Like I said, it's a lot of great people that come out of Buckeye, but that's the way my take was. because it seems like everybody involved is some kind of way connected, for one thing. And the other part is, like I said, the first person you reach out to is the police department. That's what the police department. I'm pro police. I believe that we have police. As a matter of fact, I was going to join a police academy one time ago, and my stepbrother ended up doing it. He retired as a detective. So, that type deal. Me and him would have started at the same time. So it was nothing for me to ever be against police department, though I've been going through police brutality all my life as a kid. I even have scars because of police brutality. But one thing for sure is to change certain things. You have to become a part of it, and I was going to become a part of those changes in police department. So I can say that we do need the police, but at the same time, I would not allow any police officer not to do their job. And just because I'm supposed to respect them because they have a blue badge blue uniform or whatever uniform and a badge and a gun, and they got the word law on their shirt or something, that I'm supposed to respect them automatically. No, that would not happen. So if you're a bad cop, you're a bad cop. You're a bad person. You have no empathy for anybody else, and you're in the wrong profession. You don't deserve to even be a cop, to even hold a badge if you can't have empathy. So the thing is, I do think suspicious about this department. Everything I did coming in, depending on them, and it seemed like from that point on, they somehow work against me. They try to make sure whatever they said at the scene that don't make sense, they ignore the fact this guy said the vehicle wasn't there 2 to 3 days prior. They ignore all that, and this is what we say. Well, don't do it. Do what we say, and don't say what we do. This is what it is, and we're gonna do everything we can, not to help you, but we're doing everything we can to make our story true, what we feel our theory is true, and that's what the impression I've gotten from day one, especially once my investigator and I decided to turn over all the evidence that we had that shows that possible criminality is there. Once we turned all that over to them, that really pissed them off, and for some reason, and they shut down, didn't talk to me ever since, like that, And then they went to get their own incident reconstructionists to rebut anything, try to rebut. They can't, but try to rebut what my investigator found, the stuff that he found. So, yeah, they worked really hard with that. And then not the fact that the city manager owns the Buckeye Police Department, meaning that that's where their funding comes from, their money. They hold the money. And to see the mayor, who's over the police department, and the vice mayor and the whole council and everything else that's over that department to be just like them, just like the department. Here it is, a department that got the chief of police still there, who got suspended for falsifying documents. So if they falsify documents, there's no question to me that it's possible for them to falsify a police report. And I'm not saying that's what they did, but in my opinion, they did. Because they lied. They lied on me, for instance. Oh, he said, or the dad said he's in love with a woman he didn't know. I never said nothing like that. That's falsification. My daughter, that's falsification. So you know what? So when I see that, yes, that's a bunch of falsifications. So my opinions are based on what I know. And so, the thing is, it's suspicious for me for that department and that city to obviously side with a department that is not doing right. You know what I'm saying? They haven't come out to them and they have not even acknowledged me as a human being, as a person. That's very offensive. So, yes, I think it is very strange. Thank you for your question there, Jenica. I really appreciate it. You guys have any more questions, please don't hesitate to ask those questions. Thank you, Gwen, for putting that up again. I really appreciate you. To donate, you can definitely go to the GoFundMe, go to pleasehelpfinddane.com. And you can go, I don't know how to tell you to do it straight off the GoFundMe site, but you can go through pleasehelpfinddane.com, hit that donate button, and it will take you to the GoFundMe where you can help out. So I really appreciate that. Also, the tip line, again, you guys can remain anonymous, and that's for the persons I'm talking to. They know who I'm talking to. You're the person who knows what happened to my son. You're the person who has the answers. And if for whatever reason, we're not ready to share that with the family, share that with me to bring some closure to me and my family. But I'm asking you, from a human to a human, saying, go ahead and speak out. One way, I don't care if you have to draw it on a chalkboard and mail it to me. Just do it some type of way. Send me some information to know what happened to my son. So thank you so much for that. I really appreciate you coming out and joining the Q&A. All right. Dodge Fender, have a question mark here. So there's a question here, as you guys met, just like Dodge Fender done. If you put some question marks there, some kind of indication, that really helps. Could someone direct me to a safe place? Yes. I will put that number. The number's right there on the bottom of the screen. I will, if you give me your information at Dodge Fender, I will send that information to you. I'm from the LE family, law enforcement family. Thank you. And a female alone, so it's intimidating. only going there to help you smile is electric. Help your smile is electric. Yes, but thank you. If you want to come out, please, like I said, just contact me on that number below. And I will ask my members and also my board members to that question that you have there. Just remind me though, when you contact me, please put that question back there on the text messages there, and I will have the information for you. So I definitely have the information for you. Oh, matter of fact, I see my board member already, Sophia. Thanks, Sophia, for putting that up there. Dodge Fender, downtown Phoenix, Central Phoenix, Tempe are all very close to the event space. If you want more location, email us at pleasehelpfinddaniel, and that's another as well. Pleasehelpfinddaniel.com. Pleasehelpfinddaniel@yahoo.com. And then I want to start putting that up also on the bottom there for you guys to contact. I would add that to. Matter of fact, I'll do that now. I would add that to the banner. So anytime you guys want to, I put information out here like that, you guys can also contact me both ways. Let's see here. Please. That's another way that you guys can contact me. And I'll throw that down on the bottom of the screen for you. It's also both ways. You can do it there off the 803 number, 200-7994, or please help find Daniel at yahoo.com. That's please help find Daniel at yahoo.com. That's the email address if you guys want to contact me directly as well. Yeah, please. Thank you also, Sophia, for putting that up there. That's very helpful to me answering that question. So definitely, if you want to get the information, please reach us either way. Also, for the person who have that anonymous tip or that tip they want to give, you can use that as well if you want to talk to me directly. So good. Thank you so much for helping with that, Sophia. All right, Dodge Fender, again, you have a question? Again, sorry, I want to help in addition to coming or sending money. Can I pick up flyers when I arrive? Yes, you can, to bring home. Or will it help to get them now? The lab, Josh and Chris are in to help. Yes, you can definitely get those flyers when you show up there. We have flyers there as well. We have our little table there. You can get as many as you need to take back to your city along with you. So I will provide those for you. So I'm looking forward to it. So thank you so much for your help, Dodge Fender, and coming out to the and if you come out, I'm really grateful if you come out. I'm really grateful if you show up there. And not just for me, but the other families as well, because I know they would definitely need that. They need that support. I know I needed it, and I'm trying to do everything I can to help other families as well as helping my family and myself find my son. So I'm not going to leave other people behind in my process. When God blessed me to learn a little bit more or have the ability to help in any kind of way I can, here I am asking for more funding to get forensic work done, but I'm sure going to make sure I have these flyers, for instance, to get this out, and also have this platform for other families. Again, this platform here, this is not an entertainment Q&A or entertainment YouTube channel. Is there to put information out there for my son and also for other families that I've been reaching out to. If they want to come out and utilize this platform to tell their family story, by all means, that's what I'm looking for. So again, that might be one of the avenues also as well, to have the Q&A just on Wednesdays and have an open door for a lot of the families who want to come on and talk about their family members. So thank you guys for being part of this Q&A this evening. I don't see any more questions. I'm down to the bottom. So really, thank you so much for coming out, being a part. I'm just very grateful every time you guys come out and really showing your love and things like that. So I just know what to say. But thank you. Thank you. Rick. God bless you for everything. I just want to also remind you again, please hit that share, like, subscribe button for this YouTube channel. Definitely need to get Daniel's story out there. And then for those who do want to have called the Buckeye Police Department, that number is right here on the bottom of the screen. I'm going to let it stroll there for a little while. So if you guys want to get a pen, a pencil, you want to write those number down and you want to give them a call. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just providing that number for you. I'm not going to tell you what you can and cannot say, but I can tell you that's their phone number if you want to contact the Buckeye Police Department. And, so what I'm asking is for me personally, you can utilize that number. You can contact Chief Hall. He's the chief of police there, and let him know what I want as a father in my family. We want the FBI in my son's case. We want somebody else to handle the case. We don't want the Buckeye Police Department to handle the case. We want them to relinquish and send my son's case over to someone who actually willing to do some of the things that we're asking or able to get some things done. So do the right thing. Do the right thing. We lost confidence in them as a family, and it wouldn't be fair for them to continue on playing around with my son's case and saying and putting all the kind of things in their report, and we're not getting any kind of results and finding my son. I don't want no games. I don't want to make them look good. I want to find my son. You know what I'm saying? So they can do what they want to do, and the best thing they can do for me and my family is to let my son's case go and ask another department. I don't care if it's Phoenix. I don't care if it's Tempe. I don't care if it's whoever. They just need to send my son's case elsewhere where I can get some work done and find out what happened to my son. So that's my main priority. And so that's my main priority. And I was going to continue to do so. Continue to fight for my son. Again, thank you guys for coming out to this Q&A. I don't see any more questions. Like I said, I'm going to check one more time here to make sure to double check. But I don't see anything at this point. Let's see here. If I do miss your question, please come Friday. I will have a Friday Q&A. But like I said, on that Friday, I will make that decision. If I will have by Friday, I will have that decision if this will be the last week of Q&As for 3 days a week. Like I said, I'll try to make sure they have the Q&As on just on Wednesdays instead of this Monday, Wednesday, Friday to be on Wednesday for the prime time and also the morning Q&A. So if you guys can continue to pay attention to that, I would definitely have it on the. I do have a question here for Janica again, but I will have that on the social media sites. How are you and your family coping? My family, like I said, they're doing the best they can. I did talk to some family members. I talked to Daniel's mothers a few days ago. Of course, she's not coping with that very well. Of course, she's not going to. She's a mother. His siblings, they're doing okay as well. They're hanging in there. As his aunties and other family members, they're very hopeful and hanging in there as well. His grandparents, of course, they are in pain and suffering. Just want these answers. My cousins want these answers, so they hanging in there the best way they can. Here it is going on a year. You can imagine if these months went by fast. I can speak for myself. It flew by. And it's going on to a year that my son has been missing. That made me feel really horrible. I've been fighting hard. I thought I was gonna find my son on day one when I came out here. I thought I was gonna find him on the first searches that I set up. Here it is months later, and in some aspects it hurts me because I go through these things where I think about what I could have done or should have, could have, would have done. Maybe that would have bring a different result with me finding my son. So of course, there's going to be some things I go through like that. It's very painful to know that a year coming up and I still don't have my son. So, but I had to report that back to my family. So, and myself, and just have to think about that. So it's difficult. But yeah, thank you for asking. And I really appreciate, I'm sure, your support and in this whole entire thing. So, all right. I think that is it. Definitely that is it. So, all right. And if anybody have any family member that they want to, highlight or talk about, please, by all means, hit me up also as well on the same information there that we provided. You can utilize the phone number there that's on the bottom of the screen or email me. And, definitely would like to put you here on this Q&A put you on this platform, period, to tell your loved one's story, to get it out there. You know, I know it's difficult because, like I said, I talk to families all the time, try to invite them on. And one of the biggest things is to be on camera. That is the hardest part, and I can tell you it is. I remember when I first started doing, especially interviews, it was difficult. You know, it is difficult. It's, a lot of times it's still difficult. It just I have gotten used to it. Amazingly, I look at myself now like, man, I would have never done this in a million years. And here I am on Q&A and all kind of stuff. So, you know, and that you get used to it over time. But I know those families, they definitely having a hard time. That's why I understand. You know, I invite them on. I have yet to get a family member to come on and talk about their loved one. It's not easy. It's not easy at all. Even Daniel's mother decided she wasn't going to do any more interviews because of that hardness of being on camera. So, you know, that type deal. So, you know what? It happens. Very difficult. So, but I just know the need for my son. I have to have this done. I have to do it to make sure his story stay out there. Make sure he get thrown under the rug. He don't become one of those unheard persons. He's Daniel. He's Daniel. I'm just gonna leave it just like that. But anyway, thank you guys for being part of this Q&A. I'm still grateful again for you guys coming out. If there's any questions that I have missed, I got one more. I apologize for that. And you guys can always come back again on the next Q&A. And I will let this be the last question. Come out on Q&A again and ask those questions. I will see you Friday. This question here from Dodge Finn again. Ashley's statement, David, I thought from the first day I saw you on Gizla True Crime, you were the best father. Oh, wow. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Best father imaginable. You prove me right every day. I wish I had a father like you. That's really nice of you to say that. I really appreciate that. You know what? To God be all the glory, first of all. And of course, I think the biggest part of being a great father is just to be a father. You know what I'm saying? Because I think the way I look at it from my standpoint, coming from a single parent home, all thing I can think of being a great father is just to be a father. You know, meaning that you just do what you're supposed to do as a father, like you're supposed. It's nothing special, no magic trick to it. It's just being a father. I just know how I feel about my children. I know the way I've been taught by my mother and also the church I was going to about providing and being there for your family, to be that backbone and also be a protector in all kind of areas. So I'm just doing what I've been taught. It's nothing special about it. Just doing what a man's supposed to do when it comes in terms of being a father. And there's nothing, like I say, special, but I do understand that. I understand it from the standpoint of me, like I said, growing up in a single parent home, just my mother. My mother did all of that by herself. So I'm really grateful for your comment there. So thanks so much. And thank you also, Tanya, also for your prayer. I see your comment there. Yes, and I really like the last part you put there. Say his name. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Yes, Daniel Robinson, geologist Daniel Robinson. And that is him. Very, very talented guy. I know the guys. If you guys would have met Daniel and you're going to meet Daniel, you meet him, you will love him. To meet Daniel is to love him. Very good young man, very intelligent, highly intelligent, very people-oriented person. You know, so that's just Daniel. It's hard to imagine that anybody can look at Daniel, if somebody did anything to him, to look at him and actually could see reason to do anything like that or do anything to him. So that's hard for me to imagine in my head, not just being biased by just being a father, but just being honest. Just being honest. You know what I'm saying? He's a very good young man. I'm grateful to be his father. I'm really grateful to see him have grown up to be a man. So really grateful for that. And the last question I said before, yes, I am trying to, much as possible. I have a team. I have Gwen here. I have a team. Also, people who just definitely going to make sure that I get some type of rest. And I laugh about it because, yeah, they all going to say it all the time. You know, hey, you got to get that rest and make sure you take care of yourself. So I was going to make sure they stay on top of that, because, you know, sometimes you get so busy, you forget about yourself, and it happens. So thank you also, Gwen, for putting that up. Day of Remembrance. Again, I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks for coming out to this Q&A. God bless you, and I love you all. And I'll see you Friday. So thanks so much. All right. Talk to y'all then.